Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share some words this morning. Before I begin, I beg for the permission, blessings of all the Vaishnavas, especially those much senior to me. Oh, a little louder? Okay. I pray for your permission and blessings that I can share something. Is there a copy of the Bhagavatam? I haven't managed to memorize it fully. Well, I can also get on my phone.
Here it is. This is the 8th canto.
Is that 8th canto? Okay.
18:5.
Okay, so it'll be on the fonts. Okay, so today we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, canto number 8, chapter number 18, entitled Withdrawal of the Cosmic Creations. And today we're reading from text number 5. Of course, today we are honoring and celebrating the appearance of Lord Vamandev. Shri Vamandev ki jai. So if you can repeat after me. Shronayam Shravanadvadasyam Muhurte Bhijiti Prabhu Sarve Nakshatra Tratradyas Chakrusta Janma Dakshinam. Shronayam Shravanadvadasyam Muhurte Bhijiti Prabhu Sarve Nakshatra Taradyas Chakrusta Janma Dakshinam. Shronayam Shravanadvadasyam Muhurte Bhijiti Prabhu Sarve Nakshatra Taradyas Chakrusta Janma Dakshinam.
Shronayam Shravanadvadasyam
Shronayam Shravanadvadasyam Muhurte Bhijiti Prabhu
Nakshatra Taradyas Janma Dakshinam.
Shronayam Shravanadvadasyam Muhurte Bhijiti Prabhu Sarve Nakshatra Taradyas Chakrusta Janma Dakshinam.
Ladies.
Shronayam. When the moon was situated in the Shravana lunar mansion. Shravana Dvadasyam. On the 12th lunar day of the bright fortnight in the month of Bhadra, the day famous for Shravana Dvadashi. Muhurte, in the auspicious moment. Abhijiti, in the first portion of the Shravana lunar mansion, known as the Abhijit Nakshatra, and in the Abhijit Muhurta, occurring at midday. Prabhu, the Lord, Sarve, all, Nakshatra, stars, Tara, planets, Adya, beginning with the sun, and followed by the other planets. Chakruhu, made, Tajjanma, the birthday of the Lord. Dakshinam, very munificent. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, the A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Translation: on the day of the Shravana Dvadashi, the 12th day of the bright fortnight in the month of Bhadra, when the moon came into the lunar mansion of Shravana, at the auspicious moment of Abhijit, the Lord appeared in this universe. Considering the Lord's appearance very auspicious, all the stars and planets from the sun to Saturn were munificently charitable. Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, an expert astrologer, explains the word nakshatra, taradya. The word nakshatra means the stars. The word tara in this context refers to the planets, and adya means the first one specifically mentioned. Among the planets, the first is Surya, the sun, not the moon. Therefore, according to the Vedic version, the modern astronomers' proposition that the moon is nearest to the earth should not be accepted. The chronological order in which people all over the world refer to the days of the week, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, corresponds to the Vedic order of the planets, and thus circumstantiates the Vedic version. Apart from this, when the Lord appeared, the planets and stars became situated very auspiciously according to the astrological calculations to celebrate the birth of the Lord. Srila Prabhupada Ki. Om Ajnanatirmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vishnavebhyo namo namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. It's explained that different personalities attain perfection in different ways. Shri Vishnu Shravane Parikshit. Parikshit attained perfection through hearing. Vaya Sikhi Kirtane. Sukadev Goswami attained perfection by kirtan, speaking. Akruras Kabivandane. Akrura by offering prayers. Kapipatir Dasye. Hanuman by becoming a servant. Sakyarjuna. Arjuna by becoming a friend of Krishna. In this way, all the different personalities are described, and then in the final verse, in the final line of that verse, it's mentioned Sarvashvat Mane Balirabhut, that Bali, he attained perfection by surrendering everything, Atmanivedan. And that was a surrender which was instigated by Vamandev. Of course, Bali Maharaj didn't have that plan necessarily to surrender everything to Krishna. But Vamandev came and tricked him, cheated him. This is very, very significant because basically the whole world is trying to cheat God. Some of them are trying to cheat God by actively opposing God. And the amazing thing is that those who also claim to believe in God, those that claim to be following Dharma, those who are adherents to religion, sometimes they are also the biggest cheaters. He said that once a man went to the top of the mountains and he said, he called out to God, God, are you there? God said, yes. God, for you, how long is millions of years? God replied, just a few moments. God, for you, how much is $1 million? He said, just a few cents. He looked up, God, can you give me a few cents? God replied, yeah, just give me a few moments. Yes, because if you try to cheat God, you can't cheat God. Krishna says, Dyutam Chalayatam Asmi. I am the gambling of cheats. In the purport to that verse, Srila Prabhupada says, Krishna is more expert than any cheater in this world. He can be more devious than any cheater. And therefore, Bali is a very, very interesting character because he's not actually anti-Vishnu. If you look at his activities, even when the demons and the demigods are fighting in the, and then churning the milk ocean, and then they're fighting for the nectar after, you don't really hear about Bali being so much anti-Vishnu. But yet Bali at the same time, his deep devotion has not come out. Bali is engaged in fighting the demigods, establishing his superiority. Bali has been engaged by Sukracharya in doing so many different yagyas, the Vishvajit yagya and so many other things. So Bali is a very, very interesting character because maybe some of ourselves we can find in Bali. We are not anti-Vishnu, we're not trying to fight Vishnu. But at the same time we have a lot of other material considerations. We have a lot of other desires and attachments and other things on our mind. We don't really want to fully give our heart, body and mind to Krishna. We don't want to fully surrender. So then what happens is Krishna has to craft a situation to basically trick Bali. And that's basically what Krishna will do in the life of every single sincere devotee. Krishna will reveal what is actually the purpose, what is actually the ultimate goal. There's a famous story in the Sufi tradition of a lady saint who once came out of her home with 2 buckets. And in one bucket it was full of water, and in another bucket it was full of fire. And so she was walking with these 2 buckets, and then she came across someone, and someone said, "What's the meaning of this?" And she said, "With the water I want to extinguish the flames of hell. And with the fire, I want to burn up all the heavens." And someone said, "Why?" She said, "Because I want to teach people that religion is not about escaping hell, and it's not about entering heaven, but it's about attaining love for God in the here and now." That's very nice. Even this morning we were hearing from Srila Prabhupada in the Bhagavatam reading, and he said, Dharma is not meant for material things. Dharmasya nendriya pritir labho jiveta yavata jivasya tattva jigyasa nartho yasceha karma bhi. Dharma is not meant for indriya priti, it's not meant for satisfying your senses. Dharma is meant for jivasya tattva jigyasa, to understand the truth, the real meaning. What is reality distinguished from illusion? And therefore, the pastime of Vamandev and Bali is very, very beautiful, because it gives us hope that yes, we are dragging our feet. We are practicing but maybe harboring many, many material desires, but Krishna is an expert thief. Krishna is an expert cheater. And we think we're being smart, but Krishna is smarter than us. And finally, he will induce us to surrender. Srila Prabhupada gives the example of a child. He says the child has gone into the father's wallet and taken $100, $100 bill. And so what the father does is he comes to the child and he says, "Oh, no, you take these 2 lozenges, you take these 2 sweets." And the child thinks, "Oh, 2 sweets, I'm the winner." And then the father takes the $100 back. And Prabhupada says, this is the situation of everyone in the world. We've stolen from Krishna. But then what Krishna will do is he'll come back and he'll take everything away from us in a very, very beautiful way, in which we won't even understand how he's done it. Yes, we are. Apparently a devotee told me this story that once one devotee was driving in their car listening to a Prabhupada lecture. Anyway, then he turned off the car, and so naturally the radio also went off with Prabhupada speaking. And then he went shopping. And then a thief came. And then the thief broke into the car. So the thief was trying to hotwire the car. So he was playing around, and then boom, the engine fired. And as soon as the engine fired, the radio came on, and it was Prabhupada's voice. And the first thing Prabhupada said is, "Everyone in the material world is a thief." It was like, oh my God. And then Prabhupada said, because everyone is stealing from Krishna. Bhoktaram yagyatapasham sarvaloka maheshwaram. And so anyway, I'm sure he became a devotee, that thief. So yes, everyone is stealing from Krishna, cheating God. Yes, on the external someone may say, yes, I am for you, but actually it is not true religion. Therefore the Shastras are always throwing out materially motivated religion. Sarva dharman parityaja mahamekam saranam braja. The Bhagavad Gita ends. And where the Bhagavad Gita ends, the Bhagavatam picks off. Dharma projita ketavo traparamo nirmatsaranam satam. So throwing away all cheating religion. It's interesting, in the 7th canto of the Bhagavatam, it's mentioned that there are 5 types of irreligion. Vidharma paradharmascha abhasa upamachala adharma sakapanchema dharmo Dharma gyo dharma vedtyajet. It's explained that there are 5 types of irreligion. One is vidharma, that which is opposed to the Vedic principles directly. That's irreligion. But then there is paradharma, when one is practicing religion but they're doing the duties of another varna because it's more attractive. Then there is abhasa, when one fakes some kind of elevated consciousness like I am avadut and then neglects their dharma. And then there is chala, which is cheating religion, where one manufactures some other type of religion, new age, and like this, many different types of adharma. But the ultimate adharma to give up is materially motivated religion. Therefore the Bhagavatam says, Save pumsham paro dharmo yato bhakti radhog sajay ahai tuki pratihata yayatma suprasidati. So this pastime of Vamandev and Bali is very hope-giving. Because when we look in our hearts, we may realize, I don't think I'm going to do it myself. I don't think I have the strength to come to pure devotional service. I don't think I'm going to be able to give up all of my attachments willingly. And then when we look at this pastime, we realize, yes, but if I'm a little bit sincere, then Krishna will come and Krishna will cheat me. Krishna will trick me. I think it was Tamar Krishna Maharaj who said to Srila Prabhupada, told him to go and preach in America, in India. And Tamar Krishna Maharaj said, I'll go anywhere, I'll go to the heavens, hells, but I don't want to go India to preach. And Prabhupada said, why? He said, because Indians are tricky. Prabhupada said, but I am an Indian. He said, no, Prabhupada, not you. Prabhupada said, no, you're right, I am also tricky. I tricked you. I tricked you. You didn't want to surrender, but I tricked you. So for most of us, we will have to be tricked. We will have to be cheated. Yes. Vamandev came in front of Bali. Beautiful, dwarf, Brahmin boy, so innocent, so cute, so loving. And then Bali said, what do you want? He said, all I need is 3 steps of land. Why 3 steps of land? Because if you walk 3 steps, it usually equals to the amount that you need to lie down. So what do you need in life? He said, I don't need much. Just 3 steps of land, I can lie down, rest. Everything else is provided by Krishna. And then Bali told him, you don't want more than that? Vamandev says something beautiful. Yavanto vishaya preshtas trilokyam ajitendriyam nasuknuvanti te sarve pratipura yidam nripa. He says, Vamandev says, if you are ajitendriyam, if your senses and mind are uncontrolled, trilokyam, even if you have everything in the 3 worlds, nasuknuvanti, you will not be satisfied. Because your senses and mind are so voracious. They're merciless. They will keep asking for more and more and more. And therefore, Vamandev said, it's not about having so much. We have to become satisfied. Therefore, I don't need much, just somewhere to lie down. What do I require? And then, of course, Sukracharya understood that he's going to get cheated. Bali is going to get tricked. He said, you are going to become adharmic because you're not going to be able to fulfill it. He's going to take more than you think. And of course, in that moment, Bali made an incredible decision. He made an incredibly brave decision. And he decided to reject Sukracharya. Srila Prabhupada quotes, Gurur nasasyad svajano nasasyad Pita nasasyan Janani na shashyan devim tu shashyan napatishta shashyan namochayedya samupeta mrityum. There are many, many natural gurus in one's life, but if they're not helping you to gain release from material life, they should be rejected. The spiritual master can be rejected. Bali rejected Sukracharya. Svajano, your relatives, can be rejected. Yes, Vibhishan rejected his family and defected from Ravan's camp. Pita Nasasyaj, your father can be rejected. Yes, Prahlad rejected Hiranyakashipu. Janani Natachyan, your mother can be rejected. Yes, Bharat rejected Kaikeyi when she did the unspeakable and banished Ram. Devim Natachyan, the demigods can be rejected. Yes, Katvanga rejected the demigods and completely renounced, and in that moment attained the supreme destination. And husband can be rejected. Yes, the wives of the Vedic Brahmanas, they rejected their husbands and gave everything to Krishna. So yes, Bali made that very, very brave decision to somehow or other just reject Bali and reject Sukracharya and just continue on and give everything to Krishna. So in this way, this pastime of Vamandev and Bali is very, very powerful, very, very instructive, because it shows us that the ultimate cheat, the ultimate cheater, the ultimate trickster is Krishna. And even if we are reluctant, causeless unwillingness to surrender, then Krishna will manufacture, Krishna will architect the situation in which, without even knowing, we will gradually give our life in service. Sometimes when we look back at our life, we may realize, I never planned to get this serious. Maybe when you met the Hare Krishnas for the first time, you didn't plan to get this serious about spiritual life. But somehow or other, one thing led to another. Therefore, I often say the devotees of the Lord are agents of Vamandev, because they come into your life and they say, it's okay, you don't have to change your life, just add a little bit. And gradually they add so much that there's nothing left to take away. So this is our great fortune, that we are connected with a Supreme Person who is so involved, who is so attentive, who is working hard, who is working overtime to try to even overcome our unwillingness to surrender. And he does it in amazing ways. Srila Prabhupada was in Vrindavan in 1959, and he was all alone. And he wrote that beautiful poem, Vrindavan Bhajan. And he said, I'm sitting here alone in Vrindavan. Where are my family members? Krishna has taken everything away from me. He says, Krishna has shown me the naked form of the material energy. Yasyaham anugrinami harishe tadhanam shane tato dhanam tyajantasya svajana dukha dukitam. Krishna has taken away my wealth, my family. Krishna has taken away everything. And then Srila Prabhupada says, this is misery. And then he says in the next line, but it gives me a laugh. I sit alone in Vrindavan here and I laugh. Krishna has taken away everything from me, but he has ultimately given me the greatest wealth. So that is Vamandev and Bali. Vamandev comes and he takes everything away from Bali. With his first step, he covers all the lower planets up to the earthly planets. With his second step, he covers all the upper planetary systems. And then Bali is forced. Yes, now you place the third step on my head. And in this way, Krishna takes away everything. But then he leaves Bali with the most valuable thing, which is surrender. Saranagati, the ultimate essential goal that everyone has to achieve in their life. So as we read this beautiful interaction, we can see so much of ourselves in the Bhagavatam. Remember, the Bhagavatam is there because it's helping us to overcome materially motivated religion and ultimately achieve a level of purity, a level of complete selflessness, a level of surrender that will qualify us to re-enter Sri Krishna's Nitya Leela. And therefore, in all the characters of the Bhagavatam, we are getting much hope because we're seeing that yes, there is a transformation, yes, there is a change, yes, there is something that can happen that can turn the tables. And so on this day, as we remember how Vamandev tricked Bali, we can pray to Krishna, yes, also trick me, cheat me. Even though I don't want to, even though I'm holding on, find some ingenious way. You are very, very intelligent, Krishna. You can do anything. So you find some way to cheat me so that just as Bali surrendered everything, I can also surrender everything. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, yes. Okay.
Thank you for a beautiful class, Maharaj. I have one question. In the purport, Prabhupada is talking about how the moon is further away than the sun. And he gives that example of the days, the week, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, like that. Obviously, according to modern science, the moon is a bit less than 250,000 miles away, and the sun is a bit less than 100 million miles away. And so according to modern science, the sun is 400 times further away than the moon. So in relation to the point you're making about Krishna trying to help us surrender even to the point where he cheat us, but that information seems to me to be like a spanner in the works. I mean, when I come across something like that, that's just like a stumbling block to certain. It makes me feel like, whoa, what did I get myself into here? I don't know, it's like, how do I understand this? So, could you say something about
Yes,
this pretty radical purport there that you read?
Yeah, I received this verse. I wasn't planning to give a class on the structure of the universe and so on and so forth. But yes, of course, this point comes up. When we look at Srila Prabhupada, of course, there is cosmology, and there are, even within our own devotee circles, there are different understandings of how to understand the cosmology of the universe. Of course, when we look at the cosmology of the Bhagavatam, we are dealing with different dimensions of reality, and therefore it's not so straightforward. Descriptions can sometimes feel to be very contradictory, but then we have to understand the limitations of how we describe things. So someone asked me this the other day, that how do we deal with people who get bewildered by statements like this which seem to go contrary to science? So I told them three things. The first thing is, we have to first admit that even science is constantly changing its position. So even science hasn't agreed for the last 100 years of how they see the universe and the structure of the universe and cosmology. So we get bewildered, but even the goalposts of science keep moving. So the first thing is we should understand that what is posited by modern science today could be changed by modern science itself tomorrow. That's just the nature of it. That's the first thing. The second thing I told him is that amongst our devotees, we are also still trying to understand the cosmology of the universe and how it actually relates and interfaces with the modern day findings. And so there is still room and understanding and discussion that has to take place to intelligently understand these things. And the third thing I said to him is that rather than focusing on these things which are, to be honest, beyond our comprehension, Prabhupada said, how much will you understand with your, what did he say, pea-sized brain? Something of that nature, he said, right? We are trying to understand the entirety of the cosmos, and here we are, just one drop in the ocean. So rather than dealing with truths which are way beyond our comprehension, we would do better to interface with the parts of Shastra that we can immediately test and immediately practice and immediately try to experience things which are within our locus of grasp. And so I think if we approach it in this way, what I try to do is show people that yes, there are things within the Vedic literature that require faith, but there are also many, many things in science which require the same amount of faith. But in science, they won't call it faith, they'll call it axiomatic truth. And basically in science, an axiomatic truth is something that they haven't proved, something that they don't have any findings for, something that they haven't verified, but they accept to be true so that they can advance in that area of understanding. So we don't have faith, we have axiomatic truths. This is the world that we're living in. So like this, as we become more and more established, then we can understand that, yeah, there's no need to become bewildered because science changes, we are understanding things deeper, and ultimately many of these things are beyond our grasp and comprehension. So therefore, better to focus on that which we can test. That's how I would. Yes.
What do you want, him or me?
I don't. I'm a neutral. Oh, I choose. I have the power.
As the speaker, you have to decide who gets the mic.
Oh, I have to play that part. Oh, okay, okay. Maharaj, we take you and then you.
If urgent, I defer to you.
Question or comment?
If you want to give preference in the sannyasi, I'll take it. Thanks so much. I like the last thing that you said, which was really very good. I generally don't waste my time on questions of that nature. I generally say, do you want to be peaceful? Yes. Do you want to be joyful? Yes. Do you want to be happy? Yes. Do you want to feel fulfilled? Yes, 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 yes. Don't waste your time with this question. Even if you got the answer, you'll still be in anxiety. You'll still be in full misunderstanding. You'll still be in the dung, so to speak, in the mud. It won't help you at all. Better try to please Krishna, serve Krishna, honor Krishna, glorify Krishna, give him your very best. And when you give him your best, tell him it's your worst. And you need more inner strength and love and joy to give him even more. And only you, Krishna, can give you that. So I beg for that. And that's all I want.
Thank you, Maharaj. Yes.
Yeah.
I think Srila Prabhupada was speaking to members of the Mensa, the IQ people. And so they were going back and forth, back and forth. They were coming up with this problem of rocks, you know that one? Can God lift a rock? Can God create a rock so heavy that he can't lift it? So if you say no, then there's something God can't create. And if you say yes, there's something God can't lift. Prabhupada said yes, he can create, and then he can lift it. That blew their mind. They never heard that answer before. Anyway, after the whole conversation of going back and forth, Prabhupada just looked at one devotee and he said, Krishna is so nice. Krishna is so nice. Just take him. So it's like after all those arguments, it was just Prabhupada just said, Krishna is so nice. Just take him. So yes, ultimately that's the point. Krishna is so nice. Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you, Maharaj, for the nice presentation. In the wonderful pastime of Vamana and Bali, we are always amazed about how he made a choice. He rejected his guru, and we know why. But then later on, you were mentioning also about it in, like in the Bhagavatam, Vibhishana, his brother Ravana, and Prahlad, his guru, his father, Hiranyakashipu. So my question is, many people, when they join Krishna consciousness, sometimes they come across with these, choices that may have. Some of them they might be immature, and sometimes happen that some devotees actually, they do more service by being tolerant, patient, and praying, and not rejecting the family. So can you elaborate this? Because they become favorable at the end, sometimes, not all the time. Can you elaborate this?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for clarifying this point. When we say they reject, what we mean is they reject their instruction, but they don't reject the relationship. Prahlad rejected Hiranyakashipu's instruction. That's what it meant, that he rejected Hiranyakashipu. But later on, when Nishingadev, he asked for the well-being of his father. A Vaishnava will never close the door on anyone, never rejects anyone. But what the Vaishnava will reject is their instruction. With the greatest of respect, I can't follow you, but I still love you, and I still want the best for you, and I still want you to attain love for Krishna. So I think sometimes what happens is in the immaturity of rejecting, when we join the movement, we also reject the relationship. But you don't need to reject the relationship, you just need to reject the instruction. But as a Vaishnava, you want to go back and serve them. So let us understand that when we say that all of these personalities rejected, they ultimately wanted still the well-being of those people that they rejected, because all they were rejecting was the instruction.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Archita Prabhu, yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you very much for accepting this class on the next moment. He was originally preparing for the next verse in the Bhagavatam sequence, but then I contacted him late yesterday and said, his father has appearance, please speak about Lord Rama. Thank you very much for doing that, and a wonderful presentation. Just to go back to the science question, because because you bring this up a lot. It comes down to who you accept as authority. On this business of sun, moon, and the planets, we accept modern science, 93 million miles or so. Just about corresponds with the Vedic measurement. But when it differs, who do you choose? Modern science or the Vedas? You have to accept an authority. You can't, otherwise you're your own authority, which doesn't work, because you're in ignorance. That's why you're reading and checking all these other things. Who do you accept? If you accept modern science, then their idea is that life comes from matter. You have to accept that. You can't just accept their measurements as being correct, but their origins of life as being incorrect. Then you're making the decision based on what? Your own intellect? Your own experience? Which is what? So it comes down to a very, very hard decision that we have to make as devotees. Who do we accept as authority? The Vedic presentation or the modern science presentation? I once spoke at USC, and we had a panel of religionists. I represented Hinduism, and there was an atheistic scientist on the panel. So when his time came to speak, he said, you guys are all very nice, I like you all, but you're just speaking on sentiment. Sentimentally, you accept that there's a God, but actually, there is no God. You can't prove that God exists. So he spoke before I did, and I spoke last. So I took him to task. I said, you accept also, based on faith, that there's a Big Bang,
Yeah.
that life comes from that. You can't prove any of that. So it comes down to who is your authority. Who is your authority? So we have to make that hard decision. Who is our authority? What we read in science books or what we read in the Bhagavatam? We have to make that decision. Otherwise, you become bewildered. It corresponds at some point, and at other points it diverges. But when it diverges, who do you follow?
Yeah, this is a great point. When Jiva Goswami wants to systemize the philosophy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then he writes the Sat Sandarbhas. And the Sat Sandarbhas are 6 books, but the first book is known as Tattva Sandarbha. And the very first task that Jiva Goswami takes on in the Tattva Sandarbha is to establish epistemology. Epistemology is one of the 4 branches of philosophy, but epistemology essentially means how do you know what you know. And Jiva Goswami begins by doing this whole analysis, and he says there are broadly Pratyaksha, Anuman, Shabda, and ultimately Pratyaksha and Anuman are limited, therefore you have to accept Shabda. Then he says, but which authority are you going to accept? He establishes that the Vedic revelation is the most detailed explanation of reality. But then he says there are many, many books in the Vedas. Which one are you going to reveal? Which one are you going to approach? So he says approach the Puranas, because Purana means old, but it also comes from the word Purna, which means perfect. So in the Puranas you find the mature conclusion of the Vedas. Therefore, Panchamo Veda, Purana, Panchamo Veda. But then he says there are 18 Puranas, so which one are you going to go for? He says they're in different modes, so go for the ones in the mode of goodness. But then he says there are 6 in the mode of goodness, which one are you going to go for? And then he says, Srimad Bhagavatam, Sarve Vedanta Saram Hi, Srimad Bhagavatam Ishyate. That ultimately you have to go to the Amala Puran, the spotless Puran. So it's an incredible way to begin his philosophical exposition, because he says there's no question of understanding the truth until you first establish what is the means by which you can know something. And therefore he begins Tattva Sandarbha by establishing the authority of Bhagavatam. And then he proceeds in the rest of the Sandarbhas to unpack Sambandha, Abhideya, Prayojana, and through the words of Bhagavatam establish the highest truth distinguished from illusion. So yes, thank you, Archita Prabhu. It ultimately begins with epistemology. How do you know you know? And ultimately, Srimad Bhagavatam Brahmanam Amalam Prema Pumartho Mahan. The spotless authority on everything is Bhagavatam, and it awakens pure love in the one who gives their heart and mind to understanding it. Thank you so much. Okay, I think we should end there. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Brahmandev ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.